Hey folks, David Frost, mystrategicforecast.com. You're here for another episode of Common Sense Market Analysis. Today is Wednesday, July 23rd, 2014. Looking at a daily chart of the SPY, and really not much happened today. Market was a little bit up today, but it was light volume. We floated around, and it's been another typical grind higher, melt up kind of a day on the S&P, at least anyway. So the Dow was down a little bit, but all in all, it was a flat day. So I want to talk a little bit tonight about the cycles and maybe get a better understanding of what I'm looking for, or provide a better understanding of what I'm looking for. So last week was the beginning of my cycle turn, right? So, and I said when I told you about it earlier last week, I said look for a turn kind of for a week long, maybe between like Thursday and then next Tuesday, Wednesday type of thing, which is yesterday, today. So that's kind of where we are. And, you give her a couple of days on either side, little latitude, but that's we should see something materialize more than we saw last week with the one-day wonder over here on the 17th. And what I'm looking for, and it looks like, I feel like this is going to happen. It looks like this is going to happen. So let's go back to earnings reports. So tonight you had Facebook earnings, and it's up a couple of bucks after hours. And you had some other ones that were down. But all in all, if the market wants to find an excuse to go higher, it's going to find one. And a lot of times, and this is what I wanted to point out, so this is important. A lot of times you'll find the end of a cycle, or the end of a move, the end of a trend, with what we call a blow-off top. Now, a blow-off top can look like a lot of different things. We had a blow-off top in 2007, which was the end of that bull market, and that blow-off top lasted months. You have blow-off tops that last a week, and you can have a blow-off top on a minor scale that lasts a day. Now, tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised. This is what I'm trying to say. I don't know this is going to happen. I'm just thinking that this is there's two possibilities for tomorrow, just like any other day. But there's two possibilities for tomorrow in my mind. One is a blow-off day. And I think if we see a big up move tomorrow, okay, you could see a reversal midday, and that would put in the topping signal on a daily chart. Or you could see a big up move tomorrow and then a sell-off Thursday or Friday or both, and not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a big sell-off, just a retracement of the move, and that may put in a weekly top. And I don't know that this is going to happen, but it just seems to be setting up like the market's looking for an excuse for the S&P to go over 2,000, and for the Dow to continue into 17,000, and for the NASDAQ to get to 4,500. And that's, in my mind, the key. So if we see these two things happen tomorrow, they'll have an excuse why it's happening. It's going to happen. Everybody will get giddy. It may even last into Thursday and Friday. And, they'll bring out the pom-poms and everything's fine. We're going higher. They'll call for S&P 2050, 2100, all kinds of stuff will happen like that. And I could see that happening tomorrow. The alternative is that we just go straight down and we start the bear market tomorrow. Now, I don't know that that's going to happen. I think the first scenario is more likely anyway. And we'll see how it plays out. It's just a thought, right? I'm not saying something's going to happen, but it's just a thought. But we're close. We're close to the turn, folks. This is just happening. I see the signs. I wrote about it in tonight's blog post. Another market indicator. I mean, you had someone on CNBC today discuss why he doesn't see any surprises on the horizon that would derail the market. Really? Isn't the spirit of a surprise the fact that we don't know it's happening and we're surprised to see something occur? That's the spirit of a surprise. What's he talking about? See, these are the moronic statements that usually mark the sign of a turn in the market on both sides. When they start calling for Dow 1,000, okay, it's usually the end of a bear market. And when they start calling for Dow, 19,000 or 20,000 or 30,000, it's the opposite occurring. We just see it time and time again. I can't help myself but point these things out because they're just so obvious, but they're never obvious until after the fact. And that's the issue you need to keep in mind. So anyway, we just keep plodding along. We keep reading the charts. We keep looking for our market indicators, and we wait for the market to tell us what to do. And that's what we're doing right now. So I just thought I would point out those items. Other than that, I really have nothing new material in the market. But let's take a look at the small cap index because something is material. IWM. Okay, so I want to go. You can't see anything from the daily market. Although we did fail again at that 115 number that I talked about last couple of days. However, we did punch up. The high today was 115.44, but we reversed back down. Let's take a look at the intraday chart, and I want to show you something interesting. Okay. Here's a down move intraday in the IWM, and here's a bearish pattern. Now, it looks like we're going to go lower, right? That's what I would say for tomorrow. The 10-minute chart looks like it wants to head lower, maybe fill this gap. However, down at I'll call it 114, 113.85 to 114. However, if I look at the 60-minute chart, which is the hourly chart, looks the opposite. This looks like it wants to go higher. You're above the 20 and the 50 period moving average. You had an up move and you had some sideways consolidation, little down moves here, but you never really took out the up move. So to me, that's a bearish pattern, and I think the market the IWM wants to go up to this 116.5, maybe even take a run at the 200 period moving average. Right now that's at 116.79, maybe pierce it a little bit and then pull back down. We'll see, but to me, the hourly chart looks like it wants to go higher. So I look at that. I look at S&P 2000 on the horizon, NASDAQ 4,500 on the horizon, and I just take a look at this stuff and I say, you know what? Well, let's look at the NASDAQ, okay? Where's NASDAQ 4,500? Okay, well, we're pretty close. Let's look at the daily chart, okay? 4,500. It's right here. I mean, all it would take is one solid big update led by something like what? Facebook. Even though Facebook's not part of the NASDAQ, it's a NASDAQ stock. It's a tech stock, okay? You're looking at Apple getting near $100. Let's look at Apple. Had a nice update today after earnings from yesterday. Big move. It's close enough to $100. Doesn't it want to get to $100? Of course it does. Don't all the fund managers and all the hedge funds want to see Apple at $100? Of course they do. Is it going to get to $100? My money's on yes, but we'll see what happens. So these are all the things I'm looking at, and I want to point them out because I want you folks to be informed. And these are the ways that this is the way that the looking at the market has served me well for years and years and years. And I just want to pass that benefit on to as many people as I can because enough's enough. If you're not aware, they're going to pull the rug out and you're going to fall through the trapdoor in the market with everybody else. Gold today, I'm going to move over and shift over to gold. Nothing happened. Same sentiment, same deal. I just think it goes higher, but I'm not convinced we're ready yet, but we're close. Oil, a little bit higher today. Kind of stalled out a little bit, but not much. Well, this is the weekly chart. Let's look at the daily. Oil, a little bit higher today. I still think we got more in the tank. We'll see how that plays out, but no new information there. GDX, same routine. Same routine as gold. And guess what? The VIX, we haven't covered the VIX in a few days. We had that huge up move from the 17th when the market went down in the VIX. Now we retrace that move, and until we take out this low, I still think higher prices are in play for the VIX. But now would be a good time to buy some insurance, which is the VIX. Okay, you're betting on the VIX going higher, and that's basically my story. I'm going to leave it there tonight, folks. I think I covered enough. This is Common Sense Technical Analysis. David Frost, mystrategicforecast.com. We'll see you on the charts. Have a good evening, folks.